when asked if he envisions cutting Jimmy Garoppolo, I don't foresee that. He's too good of a player. I think Jimmy will be playing for us or will be playing for someone else. He's too good of a player not to be. A couple other things he said, I'll just rattle through. We don't have to break down every word, but this is from Eric Branch in the Chronicle, transcribed it all. Can you afford having him as your backup at this current price? The answer is yes, said Lynch. We can, and like I said, we have prepared for this all along. It's not easy, but we'll get creative and figure it out. What does it mean for Trey? Well, it's great news. We're extremely positive on him, as I've said, as Kyle said, on Trey's progress. This offseason, he'll have ample opportunity. Jimmy won't be ready until camp. As it relates to Jimmy, we're always going to hold true to what we thought his value was. I'd say at the Combine, there were real conversations that went pretty far along, but when the shoulder surgery happened, he made a decision for his long-term that along with doctors, he needed the surgery. And so we all blessed that, but that did affect his market. And so right now we'll hold on to him. So there's a variety of things there said.
Not trying to, asking questions in these situations. I'm not acting like I'm good at it, but saying, can you afford it? And I've seen a couple people like, yeah, I mean, the salary cap's set. Like he's on the team right now. Like if they wanted to keep him, they can afford. I mean, they have the money, right? It's just, do you want to build your roster? It's probably the wrong way to word it, even though that's how everyone's been talking about it. Like
you're saying, like the question would be,
if you make it to the league year and you're on my roster, I can afford to keep you. I just, whether I choose not to or not, like they made a decision. Like if they wouldn't have been a quote unquote afford because of salary cap, he wouldn't still be on the team, right? That's why you see a lot of these guys get removed before the league year because of the salary cap. So like every guy on their roster right now, they could go into the league year with. It's just whether you want to choose to have, and really like we've talked about before, right? Their quarterback room, let's just say Trey was a second round pick and there wasn't this huge urgency. It'd be, $27 million. Now, obviously he would make as much as he makes, but Jimmy makes 27. That's what he would be on the cap. Trey's the 7, and that's 34, and then Nate's the 2. So that's less than a lot of quarterback rooms now, right? Not a lot, but I mean, there's a decent amount. I bet by the time this league year starts, what do you think? 12 plus, 30 plus $1 million quarterbacks?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be cheaper. You can just go through them, right? I mean, I won't go through all the teams, but
Stafford,
off the top of my head,
Mahomes, Josh,
Kirk Cousins,
Aaron, Cousins,
could be
Derek.
cheaper than Derek.
Matty Ice and Brady are kind of sneaky.
I mean,
cheap.
Technically cheaper than the Browns this year, but not.
Yeah,
right.
I would consider them having an expensive quarterback. Right?
Did you say the Bucks?
The Bucks, yeah.
Well,
but I would put Brady and Matty Ice in kind of a unique scenario, right? They're Jimmy money.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
So it's maybe the number's a little smaller than I think.
Yeah, I mean, listening to him talk, to me, one thing that stood out was what he said about Trey having opportunity. Right? Trey having a lot of what happens if Jimmy Garoppolo is not traded depends on what they think of Trey Lance's progress. Like if they're not thrilled with Trey Lance's progress and Jimmy's just there, then as you've said many times, Jimmy might just end up being their quarterback. It's not what they're planning for. It's not what they want, but he just...
God, the quote he gave is, if he's not playing for us. He didn't say if he's not on our team playing.
Which is, he could have meant that, right?
Could have.
Could have.
If Jimmy Garoppolo is on this team week 1, I fully expect him to be the starting quarterback. To me, if Jimmy Garoppolo makes this roster, whether they renegotiate his contract or not, I cannot see Jimmy Garoppolo staying as the backup. Because I think by then Jimmy would force his way out. Would just say, cut me. I'm not staying. Right? I don't see any scenario where they go into week 1 with a quote-unquote restructured Jimmy Garoppolo where he is just the second quarterback on the roster. That'd be a fantastic
You're saying because
situation.
he would not restructure.
I just think that if you're Jimmy, you just say, let me out of here. Let me just go somewhere else.
Well, there was a point where John Lynch was asked, have you given his agent permission to seek a trade? And John Lynch gave an answer like, we're in communication constantly. And the follow-up question was, but have you given his agent permission to seek a trade? And his answer was, yes, we have.
Which I think they kind of admitted right when the season ended that they were going to do. Jimmy said his goodbyes. My stance in this hasn't changed. They played poker. There are some variables that, I mean, truly only they know because they kind of keep their mouth shut on this stuff, which I respect. The surgery threw everyone off. But like I said, whether he didn't get surgery or not, like he wasn't going to pass a physical when someone traded for him. It was going to be a complicated situation looking back regardless. But their game plan, I think we all have to agree, right, when the season ended, was Jimmy Garoppolo to not be on the team today. Their plan, if you would have asked these guys the week before the Super Bowl or the week of the Super Bowl when they were just kind of preparing, right, for the combine and the offseason because their season was done, if I would have said, do you think Jimmy Garoppolo is on your roster when you guys go to this Ritz-Carlton in the Florida for the owners' meetings? What do you think they would have said? No chance. Well, what do you think Jimmy and Don Yee would have said?
Yeah,
No,
I mean, the only way he'd still be on the roster is if you thought if you were getting so many good offers, you had to wait to see people in person to really hash it out.
If you would have told me 2 months ago Jimmy Garoppolo's still on the roster and has a decent chance to like stay on this team, what would have happened? I'd have been like, did Trey Lance have a bad non-contact injury working out? Like, did Trey Lance tear his Achilles? And the Niners were like, screw this, we're keeping Jimmy.
Right.
That might have been my guess. Or, Trey Lance shattered his leg, like weights fell on it. I would have said, you get in a car accident, something would have happened. And you can honestly watching the video that like NBC Sports, Bay Area, CBS, whatever they're considered, put out, you could tell on John's face it's an uncomfortable thing to talk about.
Yeah. And I thought he was, you texted me this morning after seeing some of the quotes, or maybe you watched that you were satisfied that he at least said, like, yes, this is not how could you deny it? This was not what we want or wanted. We were ready to move on with Trey. And I think it makes it easier if Jimmy's not around on Kyle, or at least on the people in the organization that think Trey Lance needs to play right now, that Jimmy's not just sitting right there. Right.
Yeah.
It makes it easier to not eat chips if you just have no chips in your house. If there's chips in your house, you can say, I'm not eating chips for a week, but the chips are sitting there. So you can say, we're going all in with Trey, but bag of chips, Jimmy Garoppolo, sour cream and onion, come with your 6-inch sub. It's sitting right there. It just makes it a little more tempting, a little harder to protect yourself from yourself. As someone, speak as someone who needs to protect himself from himself.
Be very interesting to see to listen to the head man talk tomorrow, because the AFC coaches talk today.
Jed York.
Yeah, him too. See old Mr. Pink Shirt, Kyle Shanahan. See some of his takes.
Yeah,
because it wouldn't shock me. I could see Kyle being pretty. If I had to take an educated guess, what he'll say, I'd have no problem starting Jimmy Garoppolo again. I bet he says that tomorrow, because he is not afraid to put some pressure on the young guy. Right? Like the coaches, I think John.
You're saying he would say it as a tactic to put pressure on Trey?
Well, just like, man, nothing's given. Just because we traded all these picks for you doesn't mean that doesn't mean anything for you.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I just think he has some old school tendencies. Like, what would Bill Belichick and Bill Parcells say? They would just take a pretty firm tactic of not giving a big BJ to a young guy. And I think Kyle, I'm fully prepared for him to say, like, Trey obviously is going to get the complete offseason, the OTAs, and that's his chance to really show us. But, we do not have a definitive date, and we'll just kind of play it by ear. It's on the young quarterback to prove it to me, his teammates. We obviously are big fans of him, but, it's a production business.
Well, I think let me refer you back to this line in this John Lynch quote here, the third line there, or fourth line. This offseason, Trey will have ample opportunity. Jimmy won't be ready until training camp, and Trey will have ample opportunity to get plenty of reps. So he's saying, he is kind of saying that in that line right there. Like, Trey, you will have the opportunity to prove to us you're the starting quarterback. And he's also kind of saying, and you'll have a head start because Jimmy won't be back until training camp.
Yeah, they have a unique opportunity in this situation because the guy can't participate, right? This would be, I would say, way more complicated if they just couldn't trade Jimmy because nobody wanted him, and now he's just going to show up and play, right?
Yeah, yes. But he's also saying there is going to come a time where Jimmy Garoppolo is healthy, and at that point in time, there is some competition potentially that's going to happen.
You remember the picture that went viral last year on the first day of training camp when Jimmy showed up and he looked fat?
Yes.
Might have been
turned out he wasn't.
Yeah, just the angle. Bad angle. he wears probably a size too small of his Travis Matthews, but you can do that when you're in good shape.
They were a size too small to start.
Yeah, they come tight. They come tight.
Although you're wearing the zip up, looks good.
Yeah, but this actually is probably a little big.
I'm, by the way, wearing my Buck Mason. I just got this one a couple days ago with my latest Buck Mason order. Paid my own money for it. This is the
takes so much pride in saying I paid my own money.
Well, we're getting a lot of stuff for free from them. Yeah. I think they call it like the trail shirt or something along those lines. If you look, it shows it's a guy is running in it. It's an extremely comfortable shirt. Extremely. So
like like Nike Dry Fit types
material? Yeah, but it doesn't, like Nike Dry Fit sometimes will stick to you and has a little bit of a more like a plastic kind of feel to it. This one, it's like a cotton blend, and it's very light and airy. If you hold it up, it's got like little mini. It's just very comfortable. BuckMason.com/ham. Get a free t-shirt. You can actually, here's a little hack. You want a little hack? That shirt's $45. You can get that shirt for free if you want.